are we good? There we go. Right. That's better. There we go. I was like, why is it not coming up on it? Because I hadn't turned myself on. It's a Friday night, isn't it? That's. I mean, laughter, always the best way to be spiritual. Right, has everyone got their phones switched off so that we don't have any communication from the sides that are still here? We just want the other side. Thank you. Can't be dealing with none of that phoning up for takeout rubbish. I will put my watch on silent as well, though, because otherwise my mum will phone. Like, that's on silent, and she will still. She phoned me up the other day for 1 minute and 9 seconds to say to me, don't buy any cheese biscuits. I bought you some, cross them off your Christmas list. I'm like, was I supposed to buy cheese biscuits? Is this another thing that I've got to worry about that I'm doing wrong? And apparently it was.
I don't know why you children get so petite.
I wasn't. I was just unprepared for that. She phoned me up the other day and she left me a message on my phone. And it was, she hasn't quite learned that when you leave an answer phone message, you've got to turn the phone off afterwards, you know. She just turns the side off and then just doesn't actually cut the call. So then you hear ambient noises for chatting for a while. And she was telling me that she'd spoken to her doctor who told her that she's got high cholesterol. She then proceeded to tell me she doesn't know what she's going to eat now. They're trying to starve her because she already eats nothing but fruit anyway. And I don't know what I'm going to eat. And then bye, I'll talk to you later. And then we had mumbling for a while. I played it the other day, didn't I? And it was just her going, I don't know what I'm going to eat. They're going to starve me. Bloody give up. And then it cut off. And I was like, well, it's my mum.
Good job it weren't me. It'd be me ordering a takeaway. Don't know what I'm going to eat. Oh,
that would be me, unfortunately. That would be me. And that would probably be why I will have high cholesterol when I'm older. But, I mean, my poor mummy, she's just like, well, the world's against me now. I've got nothing. It's the end of the world as we know it. Because that's how she's feeling. She's feeling like she can't have lasagna.
Oh, bloody chappy.
I was like, what are you, Garfield? You're fine. So everyone had a good week then. We all good? All good? Good. I've got Ryan back with me, which is amazing.
I have one.
So I've got, I apologise if I start coughing and hacking, I will run out if I have to. Chest infection is evil. It's trying to kill me, I think, but there you go. So I'm not going to be reading out anything today, so I do apologise for one of my stories not happening. But I will ask if Ryan would just like to open for us in any way he feels like doing it.
Sure, if you just close your eyes for a few moments. And I just want you to send your thoughts out to those in the spirit world, those you love, those you care for, and those who care for you, and just invite them to draw close to us this evening. And as we do, I just ask my guides and helpers to step close to me, work with me, support me to enable that communication between those who are here and those who remain here from the other side of life. And ask that everything we do is done with upliftment, done with love, and done with laughter. And that healing is given to those who need it. When you're ready, just open your eyes.
Awesome sauce, thank you. Right, I've got the healing book. I'm not even going to go through it anymore. It gets boring, doesn't it? You know the drill. You know what you got to do. You got to visualise them in a better place. You got to not a better place, because that always makes it sound like we're sending them over the other side, and we're not. Just a better situation, in a better place, better living place than they are now. I'm confused. I've confused myself now. That's the one. Thank you. We'll take that. Just envision them in a nice rainbows of healing, all healing colours, all sorts of lovely stuff. My voice is cracking already. I do apologise. Great spirit. As we move towards the festive period, we're reminded that goodwill, kindness and care are often on people's wish lists, but they very rarely receive it, even though it is free to give. So tonight we ask that all healing, love and light we raise here be sent out to those in need, those in on these dark and colder nights. We ask that healing be sent to our animal kingdom and to the earth itself. On our healing list we have Darren, Caledonia, Vicky, Michael, Dougie, Maureen, Georgina, AC and family, Anita, it looks like Squin, I'm not 100% sure there, but I'm going with it, Mo, Karen, Irene, Gemma, Lawrence, Maureen, Roy, Jenny, Rowena, Scott, Katie, Craig, Sue, Robert, Sam, Janet and Paul. So if we can all just to see them in a better state than they are now, being a bit happier, healthier, with nice smiles on their faces, that would be great. There we go. I had the insane urge, like the Babe movie, to go, that'll do, pig. But I won't. So that's all for me. Thank you very much. We're all good. I'll pass everyone. Do whatever you want to do.
Well, I've got to try and get up. So I'll tell you a quick story of why I'm hobbling around. So I work in special needs school. The head teacher has paid for all staff to be able to attend a CrossFit gym thing on Wednesday. So I'm now looking like I'm about to die. It was intense. I'll just put it that way. So my legs are very painful, and hence I'm dressed a little bit casually because it's children in need today. So we're allowed to dress down. Anyway, so I will give you a little bit of a talk. For those that have seen me before, I do apologise. You're probably going to have heard this story before, but I think it's the experience, I think, is a privilege that I was allowed to have, and I think it's my responsibility to share it with as many people as possible. So here we go. So a few years ago, actually many years ago, when I was 14, my mum got diagnosed as being terminally ill. And I'd cared for my mum for quite a long time. And probably around sort of 21, 22, my dad had actually passed away as well. Now, my mum lived through that. My dad passed quite suddenly, very unexpectedly, and quite traumatically. But that's another story for another day. My mum, however, she carried on, and I got told when I was 14 she got 6 months. When I was 31, she was still with us. And one of the things that I am a firm believer is that she attended healing on a weekly basis. She received spiritual healing, and I firmly believe that helped her, not just in a physical sense, but helped her emotionally, helped her psychologically, and actually for some weeks, that was probably the only couple of people that she was seeing, myself and one of the spiritual healers that used to come and give her some treatment. But it was then, how many years ago now? A few. So 2018, that my mum finally, her health deteriorated significantly and she was taken into hospital. Now, I live down near Lakeside, so in Thurrock, and my brother had offered to provide some respite to me through the care that I was providing, and she went to stay at his house over the Easter half term. So day one, and he lives in Ipswich. So day one, she turns up there, catches pneumonia, kicks in, and then she's then in hospital at that point. So we spend the 2 weeks that I was meant to be getting respite up at the hospital every day, looking after her again, sitting with her. And it carried on for the whole of those 2 weeks. And we're sitting there being told, it'll be any moment now, any moment, and just to prepare yourself. And then on the last day, it was middle of April, on the last day, we were sat by her bed. My sister nodded off and rested her head on the catheter bag. Nice little comfy pillow for her. So we started laughing and we started, enjoying that moment of taking the mickey out of my sister. And in the end, we were like, come on, go back to my brother's house, have a little nap. Nothing's happened for 2 weeks. Like, nothing has happened. There's, deterioration. There's been some better days and some worse days. But, for the last 6 hours, we've sat here being told, this is the moment, this is going to happen. So she did. So off her and my brother went. I'm one of 5 children. I'm the youngest son. I've got a little sister, so she's the baby of the family. Hence us taking the mickey out of her. And so my oldest brother's autistic. He wasn't involved in this, but the next one up. So it's just me and him sat by the side of my mum's bed. He's a big builder, big burly man, and in comes the nurse and says, I just want to give your mum some pain relief. Oh, no, I can't look at needles, he goes, and off he goes. So I'm sat there with my mum, holding her hand, telling her it's okay to, I'll make sure everything's sorted, I'll make sure everything's okay. And suddenly I saw my dad stand at the end of the bed. I saw my dad smiling at me, and as I said, he'd passed away several years beforehand. So me being the emotional, very tired person, got the ump with my dad smiling at me, I'm sitting there going, why are you smiling? Like, mum's literally about to pass away. Mum's literally about to go. And just standing there smiling. I was very emotional and, a little bit little bit camp. So I'm like, oh my God, let's flamboyant it up all the more. So I'm sitting there at the side of my mum's bed, having a go at my dad for smiling at me. And then suddenly, the whole atmosphere in the hospital ward changes. All the other noises of all the other beds changed. They were gone. Couldn't hear a thing. The busyness of the hospital just disappeared. And suddenly all I became aware of was my dad and my mum laying there. And then I saw my mum stand at the end of the bed with my dad, holding hands, smiling at each other, being together in that space. She'd stood up properly for the first time in probably about 12 years. She didn't have to have the oxygen tank that she was plugged into constantly attached to her. She was able to be healthy, be well enough to be free from all the pain and discomfort. She had her colour back to her. She looked the size that I remembered her being when she was well. And all of those physical stuff that the condition had caused that impact on her was all gone. There was none of that physical stuff that we often attach to the memories of those who passed in the spirit world. All of that gone. And she was with the man that she loved. She was with the man that she'd grieved for from the moment he died. As I said, his passing was very traumatic and very dramatic. And again, you know, there was moments. I'm not going to go into all the detail, but for example, she had to pull the oxygen tube from underneath his body, like really traumatic. And again, she was back with him. She was back with, you know, they met when they were something like 16, and he was 57 when he passed away, and she was 64. And so there was that big old time that they'd spent together. Obviously, they loved each other. They had 5 children, you know, we all. And that connectedness, that free from pain, that free from all the physical stuff that we worry about and things like that. I went from believing to knowing, and that fear of being on our own when we pass away or when we die is no longer with me. Fast forward, October last year, my partner passed away as well. We were at home and he died, and I had to do CPR on him. And his mum stood there, and she was in the spirit world, and she stood there, and then I saw him stand there. I'm still pumping away just in case, you know, as you can imagine. But I knew that he'd passed, because I knew that his mum was with him. I knew that they were together in the spirit world. And that went from, you know, I miss him and I love him and I still feel him around me sometimes, but the reality is he's no longer in pain again. Again, that was very out of the blue, very sudden, unexpected. But it helps that grieving process for me. So as I said at the beginning, I think this is such a fundamental, such an important story and experience to share with people. Just share that experience and knowledge that I now have. As I said, I went from believing to knowing. And as I said, I think it's such a privilege to have been able to experience those moments. I want to share it with as many people as possible. So hopefully you can take a little something from that short story. And yeah.
Well, thank you,
That's
it is
right.
an amazing story. It's one of those things where we always say that so many people come here and they say like they feel such a tremendous amount of guilt if they weren't when they loved them when they passed.
Absolutely.
And I always say to them, they physically, you might think like they were alone in the house. They were never alone. No one passes alone. No one leaves this without someone there with them. And it's those sort of stories that just remind you about that. We saw my nan staring at the bar where my granddad always used to stand, and I was like, right, he's waiting for, she's going very, very soon. And we knew the exact same thing. They're there, you know, and it's always such a lovely story to hear. So thank you so much.
Not a problem.
I have nothing to do, so.
That's okay. I'll just carry on. I don't fancy sitting down because that means I've got to stand up again and my legs ache. If you've not seen me before as well, I do like to work with humour. I think it's really important. Let's be honest, this world's miserable enough. If we can have a little bit of upliftment in our lives, let's go for it. But equally, I do take what I do very serious, and I do realise that people are at different stages within their grief. So, you know, please don't misunderstand my attempts at humour as insensitivity. It's not that the case at all. Okay, so I have got a lady that draws close to me now. This lady, she takes me to mum's side of the family. I do feel as though this is mum that I'm talking to. And I know with mum, there was a lung condition that was significant with her. She makes me feel like the age of 67 was it significant. And I also know, okay, I'll tell them. And I also know she had a problem with one of her legs in particular here. I know that there was like a limp that would be significant with her. I do feel as though there was one point that I would have needed some sort of mobility aid. However, I do know that that's being thrown out of the window as soon as she's getting the opportunity to do this. She does also talk to me about Rose, and I know this would be a name that connects to her. I'm here, aren't I? Yeah, because she's just come stood right next to you, and I can smell her perfume as she's come close to me. That's a real big waft as she's wafted past. And she's not standing here anymore. She's literally come and stood by the side of you. She says that you feel her indoors as well, and you get her smell come close to you there as well. Okay, you okay? Do you want a tissue? She tells me that my story at the start, there's a resonance here. Okay, and that's why she's come straight in there as well. Now she takes you by the arm here, and she's like, I wouldn't use a stick, but I'd use your arm to walk with you, and I'm walking with you all the time now as well. She talks to me about August the 23rd, so I don't know if that's a birthday party or anniversary or around that date. I don't mind being a little bit late or early for that, but I know that around the 23rd of August is significant. She also takes me to October as a birthday party and anniversary there as well. And also, who's Lee or Leanne?
No, Leanne.
That's okay. Not connected. Oh, okay, that's fine. But she would know Lee or Leanne. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Because this feels like she's bringing that name forward rather than me connecting on a psychic level with this. Now, as she talks to me here, she pushes your fringe out of your hair like this. But I know also this is in return. You would have done this to her as well. And she places a gentle kiss on your forehead here. And she tells you just how much she loves you. She says that she loves the fact that you still talk to my photo here as well. She said, before you came out this evening, you spoke to me there. And she said, and this is me acknowledging that I'm there for you. What's the thing about the butterflies with her?
I've got a top that's got a butterflies on it, and I've kept it.
Okay, perfect. That's fine. And they're saying Kels as well. Yeah, they're saying Kels with the butterflies too. No. Saying Kels with the wings. I keep seeing lots of wing stuff. Okay. You got her angel wings. Okay. And also she's making me feel like I'm about to take some water here, but I feel like this would be tea with this lady. Big time tea. And I know that's very stereotypical, but for your mum, this is almost like a calling card type thing. I'm a teapot, basically. There's something else there as well. What's that? As she takes me into her living room here, I'm aware of like a cabinet with all these little trinkety bits and pieces. And I feel like there was a conversation before she passed, and probably about 2 or 3 weeks before this, about her telling you which ones to have or which ones were special. Okay. And she said, I'm glad that you kept some of them. She said, I'm also glad you didn't keep it all. Does that make sense? Yeah. I feel like there's also recently been a conversation around passing things forward again. Does that make sense? Okay. If it's no, tell me no and I'll ask her to clarify. She's also talking about okay. Just as she how do I put it? That's 2 separate things. Do it slowly. I'm not sure at the moment whether she's showing me the photograph of her holding a baby in her arms. I feel like this is 2 separate things. There's a photograph that you look at or that you've been looking at recently where she's holding a baby in her arms. But I also know that there's a baby that since she's passed has gone to the spirit world or that didn't quite touch the earth plane, okay? And she's acknowledging that she's looking after this baby here as well. That's okay. And I know also she makes me feel like my name's still here, so I don't know who's been named after your mum, but she makes me feel, or even as a middle name, but I know like my name's still here. Who's the young lady with the brown hair where this name thing connects in? Okay, let me ask her for clarification on that. Misunderstood, sorry, hold on. You haven't got something with a plaque, like a plaque with her name on, have you? Not. I'm not talking about like a. Okay, sorry, I misunderstood. And would you understand about whoever this person is with the dark hair? I don't know if this is like a sister or somebody like something like this, who's got something like that as well. She may have. Just double check, and then you can write all over Facebook how what a good piece of evidence that was. Okay. Now your mum smiles about that because I know that your mum's got a little bit of a cheeky sense of humour here, and she makes me feel like I feel like I'd have to take her back somewhere the second time because I feel like I would have done something naughty and I'd need to apologise the second time. Yeah. And I know with your mum, she's saying to me, she's like, right, it's really important you tell her I can walk again. Okay, it's really important. So I know that this is a real acknowledgement. Now I can hear, obviously, it must be the floor or something clicking under my foot, but you hear this at home, like a clicking or a tapping randomly. Okay, because she's like, it's me doing it. It's not, it's the floor, but she's like, at home, it's me doing it. So I know that she wants to acknowledge the fact that she's making noise to let you know that she's around you. She says sometimes you sit there and you get a little bit, oh, what's that? She's like, it's important that you know it's me. Okay. All right, one more thing, go on. She says, now, these are his words. He's here and all, but I'm chatting first. I'm talking to that, like, now, okay? But they're his words, her words. He's here and all, but it's my turn, okay? Yeah, I feel like the important, not that it's not important to acknowledge whoever he is, but it's the fact that she's here and she's got your back. She says the last 3 months have been tricky and have been hard for you. She was like, and I've walked every step of the way with you. She said, I'm going to keep walking with you on this too. Okay? And to keep your head up. Yeah. She says, I'm proud of how you've dealt with all this so far and how much support you've been providing to other people. Now it's time for you to look after you. Okay? They can deal with their own stuff. She says, I can't say that. I mean, I can't. I was going to say I can't say that, and even if I weren't on the record, I couldn't say that. She would certainly put her view across to people here, and she's like, yeah, just that amount of support that you're maybe not receiving when you should be. She'd have something to say about that. Okay, and she's certainly saying, she was like, well, I'm doing it from this side. So she said, yes, you did. I don't know if this is like a 1p coin or something or 1p's that you keep finding randomly on the floor. But she's like, I've been trying to show you that I'm around you. And it feels to me like pennies. Actually, it feels to me more like 5p's rather than 1p's. So if it has, okay. I don't mind feathers. She's not showing me that. It would be very easy for me to say yes. I feel like she's showing 5p coins here. So if she does, she's sending it to me. She makes me feel like there's. Okay, hold on. Yeah, she's making me feel like she's even going to pop a 5p in front of you, or there's going to be some sort of sign about 5p's that are important. Like, I don't know. Yeah, you're going to find one, it's going to have a date on it, or it's going to be, there's something significant, so keep an eye out for it. I don't like to predict the future, but she's making me feel like she's trying her hardest to prove to you that she's looking after you, because she said, I told you I would, and this is my opportunity to prove it to you. I will leave her love with you because I do feel like I could be with her all night. And she, do you know what? She's just sat on the chair and she's done like crossed her legs up. Oh, that really hurts. Crossed her legs over like this, and she's swinging her foot backwards and forwards. Okay, she's like, I'm here for the night. So I know that she would be a really chatty lady, and I know that she's like now she said she's I ain't gone anywhere, and she's not going anywhere. Okay, so I'm going to leave her love with you. All right. Not a problem. Okie dokie. So let's see who we have next. Oh, okay. So I've got a gentleman that draws close to me now, and I feel like this man would be. It says, Ryan, I got hair like you. None. So I do feel like he wouldn't have a lot of hair here in the middle. But I do feel as though he would have had more around the outside. Now, this man makes me feel. Oh, it doesn't even make me feel. He tells me, Ryan, I passed like this. So I know that his passing was very, very quick. He makes me feel as though there's like an A name that would connect to him. I can't quite catch the whole thing. And I also feel, all right, and I also feel as though being constantly on the go with him was really significant. Okay, I do feel as though this passing condition would have connected with his heart. And I do feel, okay, and I do feel as though that there would be either, is that okay. He makes me feel as though there's like dental pain or something with whoever I'm connecting with, or something very, very close to them recently, like today, yesterday, that type of closeness. Okay. He also makes me feel, all right, he takes me to dad's side of the family. If this man is not dad, I would be very, very surprised. However, he isn't telling me that. It's just the feeling that he gives me. He does make me feel as though he's been in the spirit world for probably about 12, 15 years, something like this. Okay, but although he passes really quickly and quite out of the blue, I do know that I would have been poorly for a while before this. So I do know that although, and I do feel as though it wouldn't have been directly connected. It feels like either I'm suffering with my chest or I'm suffering with something around this sort of area, but then I pass with a heart condition. Okay, does this make sense to you? Does it make sense over here anywhere? No? Okay. Does it make sense to anybody? So, dad or granddad, don't like granddads much. Dad, the A name could be connecting to him or somebody close to him, passes with a heart condition, passed around 12 years ago. As I said, feels very fatherly, but you can take some of it, but it doesn't quite feel like dad, but the same I'm not quite getting there. Okay, what can't you take?
I can't take the hair.
Okay.
And I can't take the length of time it is longer.
Okay. Oh, you watch. Oh. Anyone else? Possibly you. What can't you take? Exactly the same stuff.
Copy.
Okay. Let me have a little feel with this one. Okay. That does make sense to you.
He had a condition that he thought they knew about, and it kind of thing. I can also take toothache. I've literally just got I've had antibiotics for a toothache for the last, however, I've had 3 lots of antibiotics. I've just got my referral to have taken out as well. So.
Okay. Let me go for a bit more info on this man because, and can I just check? Do you understand this? Not necessarily confusion, but the relationship thing, feeling very fatherly in his approach, but maybe not being dad.
It's my granddad, but he was like a dad to me more than anything else.
Okay, that feels right. Does that make sense to you? No. Okay. Let me work here, and then if it carries on making sense, we'll work it out. And do you understand the A name?
Yeah.
Okay.
His name began with
A. Okay. Perfect.
And he normally shouts that out when he comes in.
Okay. And would you also understand that I'm a little bit, more broader with this man, or certainly feels this way in his energy? As he comes close to me, he wants to bring this bigness here. And I feel with him that he's quite a tactile man. He keeps like tapping me on the back here. Or is that the table I'm walking into? But I feel like there's this, as he's talking to me, it's almost like a hand on the shoulder and a quite tactile in his approach. Okay. And who's been struggling with their hands, or was this him? Like arthritic
I think he
pain
did
or
get arthritis.
difficulty?
Yeah,
He's telling me this is also here. So I know that somebody on the earth plane around you has been
my
struggling with
husband
pain.
has it as
Okay,
well.
that's fine. Because I know that's both places, he said to me. And also there must have been, as he's smiling to me, he's got quite a handsome smile. He's got quite a cheeky sort of look about him. And he makes me feel as though there's photos that you would have seen of him younger with swept across hair, with like a wave or like a dent, not a dent, like a wave in his hair. Okay. And I feel like also with him, there must be, if it isn't, no, give it to me properly. Okay, there must be some sort of military type connection here with him, but no, this is not right. It's not right. Give it to me properly. Okay, it's more about his personality again, rather than an actual role that he would have had. He makes me feel as though I'm a man of routine. I get up in the morning, I walk to the shop every day, all of these things are very routine based, but he makes me feel as though not only am I routine based, I'm quite firm in my expectations of things, and my boundaries are very, very clear with him. So he makes me feel like that's my chair. Yeah. Nobody sits in my chair. And I even see, like, not necessarily scuff marks, but like marks where it would be, this is my chair. This is my, like, you can see that it's almost moulded to him.
He had his chair, yeah.
Okay. But there's something by the side of his chair that he's always got. I don't know if this is like an ashtray or like a trinket pot, because it's not an ashtray. He keeps going into his pocket and jingling his coins around here.
He put his coins into an old ashtray on the side.
Okay, perfect, because that's what I was seeing, but I couldn't see any ash.
No.
Okay, but I know that there's also something that you've been doing where it's almost like you've been walking into an area in your house and chucking your stuff to the side, but then it not being there when you turn. I'm thinking this is more like keys. Like they've been moved or they've not been.
I know that's him being a pain.
Yeah, because this is he's acknowledging that I'm putting them down and moving them.
At least he stopped putting the chocolate spread in the fridge. That was very annoying.
Spoon. Okay. All right, give that again. I'm just asking him why he's come forward this evening. It's quite blunt, really. It was like, well, because I can.
Literally, he doesn't come through for any reason, just say how he feels like it.
Yeah.
If he likes someone's
just
energy, he comes in and says hello. If he doesn't, he sits back and just doesn't go and talk to him.
And he does quite like a little rudeness every now and again, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he loves a little rude joke, and yeah, I'm probably. Well, it's good to have got filters, that's all. Because I normally would have said it. Okay, and he does quite like he likes a pretty girl sometimes, doesn't he? He's a bit of a flirt.
He normally comes through to the young girl mediums.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not me.
Not
the last time I checked anyway.
In my last circle, there was a lady there that he took a bit of a liking to. And in a perfectly innocent way, he came home with her one time in the car, turned her radio over, wouldn't let her turn it back again, and then left her to go out the car.
Okay. On a different note, have you been doing something outside of this? I know you just spoke about when you sat in circle. Have you been doing something where you've been sharing your knowledge about spirit with people? Okay, good. Because he's like, I've been there. I've either spoken to somebody or come through or connected with somebody, and I've been quite physical in that way. I've been either touching somebody's hair or doing something like this, because that's where, because I said to him, right, the hair don't make sense at the beginning. He was like, hold on, right, it'll make sense in a minute. So he's like acknowledging touching somebody's hair or putting his hands through their hair like that. I like him a lot, because I feel like I could be naughty with him and I could get drunk with him. And I feel like there must be some stories about him getting drunk and being a little bit wobbly on his feet. Okay. He's like, Ryan, there's stories for another time, so hold on to them. Okay. All right. Go on then, I'll say it again. He wants you to take the limelight in that situation and not keep stepping back into the shadows. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's like you keep pushing people ahead of yourself, and you want you, or no, not pushing people ahead of yourself. You keep pulling yourself back from situations where actually you can succeed and excel, but you keep almost like promoting other people beyond, above you. And he's like, no, you need to acknowledge what you're good at and what your strengths are, which, you know, it's hard to do at the best times. But he makes me feel like, yeah, you in the past, particularly in the past, other people have taken that step forward, and you've pushed people forward and not necessarily done it for you. He wants to see that changing. Obviously, he's your granddad, he's going to want to, but particularly with regards to your spiritual stuff.
You never comes through to tell me.
Okay, anything else? Was he? Was he? Thanks, going for shakes from voice. Was he quite loud with his laugh? Because as he's laughing, or as he's coming forward, he's like banging on the table and very gregarious in that approach, and he's making me feel like that whole persona is what he's pushing towards you at the moment. So I will leave his encouragement, his support, and his little bit of telling off there with you. And is there something that you've been doing with your shoes, or think with your feet? Or was this, no, he's talking about his feet. Did he have particularly dodgy feet?
No, my nan did.
Okay. Oh, just nearly fell over. Okay. I don't know what that is. I'm going to park that to the side because I don't understand it myself, and I could be there ages. Oh, that would make sense then. Okay, that's fine. If you've got new shoes and they're broken, because he was looking at the shoes and he was saying about them being damaged or bad or whatever. Yeah. So if it's your shoes, that's fine. Okay. I'm going to leave his love with you. I need to just sort of disconnect a little bit because he's going to sit there chatting.
He will. I'll have to just literally just shove him out the way. That's what I do.
Okay, yeah, got it. That's fine. Okay, so I've got a lady now that joins me, and this lady in the physical world, in the life, the physical life, I do feel as though there would have been an element of confusion with her. I do feel as though there would have been either some sort of Alzheimer's dementia type condition, and I do feel as though there would have been a real significant change with my personality here. This lady, she comes forward, and I know that there would be care that would either you would have provided for her or you would have tried to provide for her, and I know that there's a resistance that she would have had here. She takes me to those later parts of her life, and she acknowledges that confusion. However, she then flips me right back to her earlier part of her life where I can see dancing. I don't know if I'm in fact, she shows me a photo of her dressed for dancing, and I feel like you would have either seen this photo recently or you would know about this photograph. There's like an I type sounding name, like Eileen, Irene, Iris, something like this, that would connect to. I don't mind if it's not spelt with an I, is that sound. And I know with this lady as well, I'm well into my 80s with this lady. I know that there would have been, I go upstairs to get into her home, so I don't know if I'm in some sort of flat or some sort of supported accommodation, but I know I'm upstairs because I'm looking out the kitchen window and I'm looking down onto the street below, and I love to keep up with what's going on just by looking out my window. Okay. She makes me feel with this lady. Okay, as I said, there's an acknowledgement about this change in my personality, change in my mental well-being connected to this condition. But she makes me feel like you kept my dignity, you kept me as me. Okay. She keeps looking over in this direction. Does this lady make sense to you?
Some of it, but not the
Not the eye sounding name. That's okay. Does it make sense to anybody else? Possibly.
Yeah,
Not the name.
The age, the condition, the dementia.
Okay. And everything else does there too, just
other
not the
than
name.
name.
Other than the name.
Not living upstairs, but she liked to look out of her window, but it wasn't
Wasn't the
up,
kid.
it was low, so she looked up at people rather than down on people. So
I might same as you. No. Okay. Let me just play with this for a little while. In fact, I feel like I've actually got not that it's not the same person, is it? Just to double check. No. I've had that before. I've been talking to somebody and I've had two people and it turns out it's the same spirit person. They both know. Okay, so let me just you're like this is Nan for you, yeah? Mum. I want Nan. You're gonna say it's mum as well, aren't you? No? Would you understand Nan with no, okay. Oh, well, she keeps saying Nan, Nan, Nan. Let me find it. I don't want to make it fit and I don't want to get it wrong because this lady's quite determined. Okay. Let me just check something. Where's the 3 grandchildren that would connect to this lady?
I had 3 children.
So that'd be her 3 grandchildren. Okay.
no, the lady was never married.
She was never married. Okay. Let me talk here. Keep listening just in case, because she's talking about being a nan to my 3 grandchildren. And I know the middle one I need to send particular thoughts to at the moment. I feel like there's either been some significant changes going on around them recently, or there's been a real need for this lady to come close to them and to be around them. Does that make sense? You can understand that? Okay. Because it's that nan. I want to come talk about my grandkids because I'm proud. Not that I'm not proud of you, but I'm proud of my grandchildren. These 3 in particular. There must be others though too. Okay, good, because I know that she's like dotting them around, but I know that I want to talk about these 3. And I also know with this lady, there must be like a stooping over with this lady too, because she makes me feel like the lower part of her back would have, in the physical side, would have been difficult. I know that I'm struggling with this towards the end. Okay, that's fine. Because I know there's this whole thing around, I'm not confused. I can dance again. I can move again. I can be mobile again. Because I know that there's one of these children or grandchildren have a fixed image in their mind or only have an idea of her as being poorly. Don't have any sort of, either don't have any memories or don't have any sort of, it's almost like it's been tainted by her being poorly. Does that make sense?
One of them, I believe.
Okay, that's fine. Because it just feels like it's like this whole thing of that's not me. I'm back to how I used to be. I'm back to being the bossy person again. She says to me. Now this is her perception that she would have seen herself as being bossy and quite kept people under control, kept families and people within my life under control. And I, as I said at the when I was connecting with her, there's a real big thank you for allowing me to continue to be me all the way through this, keeping my dignity, keeping my self-respect in place. Even if maybe I didn't appear to be aware of this, I feel like, you know, it was the clothes that I was being dressed in or being supported to wear. It was the meals that were being provided were food that I actually would have liked. She said there was lots of times when things were being provided to me and I just couldn't eat it, wouldn't eat it, and other things were then being given to me by you and people that were close to her to enable her to continue to be her. Does that make sense?
She had 7 children, so
Okay, that's fine. And she just keeps talking about the D initial as well here. So I don't know where the D were drawing close to her, but she makes me feel as though that's important.
not my mum isn't name is Baby.
Oh, I'd have that. Obviously, there's 26 other letters to go from, but we'll have that one. 26, 24, whatever. Okay, that's fine. Why are you showing me that? Sorry, let me just check something. I'm trying to work out what she's doing. She keeps taking this pound. I'm not your aim of my money, but she keeps putting like money in your hand here. I quit the gangster granny move where it's not this one, but you know when people would, she's like sliding it in. Like what she's actually showing me is a £5 note folded up into a tiny little square, and it's almost like she's coming in for a hug, and then she's sliding it into your hand.
I was her baby.
Okay. And she is like, it's funny. It's like this, as I say, this £5 note that she's folded up into this little, and she's like, go on, like this. Okay. You understand that, and it's really funny the way she's doing. She's like, go on, no one needs to know for petrol. Like, sorry. Understand what that is. She keeps like licking her finger here, and I'm just trying to work out what she's doing. It's almost like either she went through a stage of feeling like she had something on her tongue, or there was a problem with her mouth, or I can't work out what she's doing.
She couldn't speak at the end because of her connection.
There's something more to this. I don't know if it's. She keeps. It's not. I will take that because thank you very much. But she's making me feel like there's something more to this. Either like I don't know if somebody wet her lips for her, or somebody was.
I know that, but also she has false teeth.
Okay.
Not trying to make it fit. Just
No, yeah, because it feels to me more like some sort of care or something being done to me, to my lips, to help. And there's this acknowledgement of the care that was being provided, because it feels to me like she wants to acknowledge the care and the support and she said, because I wasn't the best patient, I wasn't the easiest of patients, and I feel like at times maybe, and again that change in persona there, I got a little bit short-tempered. She makes me feel, and I know that isn't her typical, yeah, and that's what she wants. She's like, I would have apologised. I had apologised lots of times when I was in a clearer state of mind about those things. And I understand that you understand this, but I still want to apologise. I still want to, she said, because I would have said sorry all the time anyway. She said, she says, and again, I know that there's this sense of, that doesn't make sense. History repeated. Is there somebody who's struggling with their mind now? Would that make sense? I don't want to make. Okay, because it's almost as though, because she's making me feel like, and not in the same way. I don't know if I'm talking about like mental well-being or something along those lines here, because she's making me feel like she's supporting you to continue to support other people with things that are going on around that area. Okay. She's quite a private person, particularly when it involves her family. She wants to get her nose stuck in all of it and sort everyone out and sort everything out. But she's not the sort of person that would publicise what's going on within her household and her family and those that are important to her. But she'd still want to be involved in getting it fixed and getting things sorted. And there's this real sense of she's trying to wrap things up in quite a discreet way. Wasn't always done effectively, but she's sort of, and she's smiling with that. Okay. I feel like, I know you said you couldn't understand the I name. I feel like this is going to make sense with her. Either this is somebody that no, it isn't. She's telling me it's somebody she's met in the spirit world that would either have been a friend or somebody close to her, important to her, because like my sort of like my story about somebody worrying that they were on their own, or somebody worrying that they didn't make it, or somebody worrying that there was a gap. Does that make sense? It's like I was reunited or met with my friends.
Quite possibly, big family.
Okay. I don't want to make it fit, but she's making me feel like, yeah, there's this acknowledgement that there was somebody who was on their, actually no, this is what she makes me feel, there was somebody that was on their way that didn't quite make it in time, and they've continued to feel a bit rubbish about it. And there's again this, and this is separate, and there's this acknowledge, you got that, and there's this acknowledgement around it don't matter, it don't matter. Okay, okay, that's cool. Anything else you want to say, my lovely? She's sitting here and she's leaning her hand on the table like this, and she's got her hand resting on her chin like this to me. And she keeps like, and I don't know if this is how she would have sat in the physical, but she's making me feel like there's this real sense of I want to give this image across where I'm literally like this talking and I mean like and touching around my face as I'm coming close. Does that make sense to you as a mannerism? Yeah, I don't want to make it, you know, but it's almost like I would be known for and almost like touching my face and it's like, again, it's this sense of I really want to present myself in a way to you that lets you know this is me. This is I'm back to being me. She says I'm back to being me, and she's so excited that she's back to being her. Because she says because it was a long time that it was too long that it from when she was well to when she passed, and she said I'm back to being me again. But she makes me feel the last 6 months you've not quite felt yourself here either. She makes me feel as though you've just felt a bit out of sync, a bit out of sorts, she says to me. And she makes me feel like you're getting back to being you again. Things have started to move forward, things have started to progress here. She said that it makes me feel like for the last 6 months it's been that slow progression, and things are now starting to speed up a little bit to clear the path, to clear the way. And she's glad that you're now starting to share some of those barriers or some of those challenges. Okay, but she says to keep chatting to her. She says, I know you do sometimes, but she makes me feel like it's been a little bit more recent, a little bit more often recently over the last maybe 3 days in particular here. She makes me feel like there's been an acknowledgement. Is there not some sort of birthday party or anniversary around now as well that she wants to acknowledge within the next like week and a half?
It would have been my dad's and her husband's birthday.
Okay, perfect. Because I know that I just needed to. That's all right. We're in November, I think. And that's only because I ain't done no Christmas shopping yet, so I know that that's there. Yeah, I want to be like around the 23rd, 24th, something like this.
Yeah, I think there's 3 in a row between like 20, 21, 22, something like that.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to leave her love with you because again, I do feel like I could chat all night with her. Okay. All right. Yeah. She's like, yeah, go on then. Yeah, go on. And she's got this nice, like, yeah, like eagerness there that she's there. And yeah, so I'm going to leave her love with you. Have you not started some sort of development or connecting as well with spirit? Like some sort of, have you been thinking about this? You're here, perfect. Okay, because she's like, Ryan, you're telling him, but he knows because he's connected with me. He's doing okay, perfect. I'll leave her love with you to continue. Okay. Okay, so I have now got a shorter man with me. He feels like his personality would match the Worth's original granddad. He feels cosy. He feels really sort of quite sweet in his energy to me. I'm not saying he is granddad at the moment. I feel like this man. In fact, that's not the best description of him. I feel like with this man, I'll come back to that little who he reminds me of in a moment. He feels to me like I would be known for wearing a flat cap. Now, again, I know that's quite a traditional thing, but I would be known for this. Again, there is this A named Albert, which springs to my mind here. He makes me feel like I'm being pulled over. He makes me feel like I'm a gentleman, and that's really quite significant about him. Remember, this is his idea of himself. He makes me feel like, if I tend to say I'm going to say it, But I'm going to think for a long time before I do. I had a habit of disappearing and suddenly reappearing with in his eyes all the answers. But I feel like I've disappeared for like to the bottom of my garden or something. Okay. He makes me feel. Oh dear. He makes me feel as though there must be some sort of sickness or some sort of digestive type condition that was around in here, because he's making me feel very uncomfortable with this. Go on then, keep going, my friend. And he makes me feel as though I must have had some sort of anemia or some sort of blood condition as well, because I can see lots of bruising or marks. Oh, tap the microphone there. Lots of bruising or marks over my arms here, but I know this is to do with a health condition more than anything else. Does this man make sense? Yeah. Okay. I was going to say. So put him anywhere else there as well. Okay. Okay. Let me just check this really quickly. I think I've got two separate people because the description right at the start, the where was original granddad type image, I felt with one person, and then the last of some of the wines.
Yeah, I used to call him
Okay, that's where I needed to go. So that was where I had this split. Okay, perfect. So I did know that I needed to have two separate people, and you understand that being a real perfect. Okay, but the Wells original granddad is certainly here with him, and I feel like I even want the big chunky button cardigans and the knitted wool type look and feel about him. I know that I've got chilly. I feel cold in his arms. I'm going to start here and then come over because he makes me feel like. He says to me, you walked into my house, it was like a furnace. He was like, I don't know if you'd walk in and start turning the heating down, but he's calling out, don't you touch that, he says to me. So I know that there's this but he does it in a really comical way here. I know, like I said over here about the granddad thing being really important to him, I know there's a memory of him sitting with his legs crossed and a child sitting on his foot being G'd up like a horse. Okay? You understand that as well? Okay. This is for him though. Because he's also singing, now it's not Rolf Harris, but it's the Two Little Boys song. I'm not doing anymore because that's private shows and that's an extra £200 for me to sing. But I know with this man there must be that type of memory there going on with him as well. And go on then, I'll tell her. Okay. Somebody had, for a long time after he passed, folded up this flat cap and sort of tucked it into like a... That's not over there, is it? It is. But it's like almost folded in on itself and it's put to the side. But there's something inside it. I don't know if this is like cigarette-y type stuff or like a... Tobacco. Okay. I don't smoke. Cigarette-y type stuff. You can tell I don't know what I'm talking about. But inside it, like almost like made into like a little bag type thing with the... Perfect. Okay. Oh, there can be a nightmare splitting this out. Do you know what? I feel like I could quite happily stand there with a pair of them like this, having a good old chat, but just chatting. Like I feel like these two guys, I don't know if they knew each other in the physical, I doubt it, but the way they're chatting to me, it's like I quite like the company of gentlemen. Like I'm not into the whole big loud dramaticness, but I do like a good old chat. I feel like that. I don't know which one this is with now, but there must be something here about darts as well being important. Okay, both of them. Okay, both of them. That's why I didn't know where I was going. And with your guy, would you understand about the cigarette that tucked behind his ear as well, all the time there? Not with yours though. I don't know what that is, so I would say, oh, thank you very much. Okay. I was going to say, this is significant. And there's something about having his socks pulled up really high with a little pair of shorts on. Yeah. And I've got a photo of this. It's like, look, they almost look like hot pants shorts, but his socks are like pulled up almost just to his knee. Okay.
The look when you go to Ibiza, that is.
Oh, certainly not the look I had when I went to Ibiza, I tell you. I can't see any glow sticks. No. With this, with one of them, both of them, actually with both of them, I can see a little whiskey here as well. But I feel like, are they both whiskey? I feel like for your guy, it's I enjoy it. For yours, like I said over here about a celebration around at the moment, go back 2.5, 3 weeks to the end of October. I know that I want to toast to around that time, end of October, beginning of November. Anniversaries. Okay, perfect. So I know that that's why he's doing that. Whereas yours, I feel like I'm actually just enjoying this.
Yeah, and it was his birthday on the 14th. Oh, he loved to drink.
Okay, yeah, this is the enjoyment more than anything else at the moment that he's showing me. And you just told me that it was his birthday, but there must be on the same date, same number. There must be 2 things. Okay. But I know also if I was to jump forward a month, so if it was did you say 14th of November? I know the 14th of December, there must be something else around that time as well. Okay. Because he's making me like, yeah, not just then as well. Okay. But I also know that I want to go to April as well. Because I keep hearing happy birthday song for April. So I know this would be a birthday rather than anything that's over here. April's there in it. April. Yeah, I was going to say I can hear April for and a happy birthday. So that's, yeah. I can't go June yet. I'm not that far through my calendar. But I know that April and I could hear happy birthday being sung, but it weren't the same voice then. Okay. Oh, this is making me work now. Let's see what's going on with them. Do you know what's really nice? They're both like egging each other on and like pushing each other forward with it. And also a little bit mischievous with each other. Like, go on, you say it, type thing. But in a real nice way. And with both of you, I feel like there must be something that has been going on. I don't know if this is like a medical thing or waiting for answers to something medically connected. I'm not a doctor. I'm not diagnosing and prescribing, but it's almost like there's been some awaiting results, awaiting direction. It's almost like we need to deal with this now. Does that make sense? Do you not understand that here though now with you? Okay, that's fine. Because I was going to say I know that he's talking about now because he's like, I'm trying to get things moving. I'm trying to get things happening. You understand this as well? Yeah, because it's like I can hear both of them in stereo, in unison. That's the word. Going, talk about the hospital. Talk about that. It's coming. And I know that there's been, but I feel like one of them it's been going on for like 2 years. And the other person's been going on for like 3 months. And I'm looking 2 years and 3 months. Like, make sense? Yeah? Okay. God, they're good, aren't they? And why is your gentleman talking about the hanging baskets? Would this be by the front of his house as he's walking in? But I feel like this hanging baskets particularly are like, it's a bit of a random thing, but it's almost like he's talking about. Whereas your guy, I feel like I'm talking about veg. I feel like I'm not talking about flowers. Flowers are not my part of the garden. I'm talking about veg, and I'm talking about not just being in my garden. I don't know if I went to an allotment or I was. It was like it's my escape, Ryan. It's my escape. But again, I think this is. I feel like this is more his humour than anything else. Okay. Your dad did the allotment. Okay. Right, what else is there? I don't know who this is with. What's the funny story about the horse? Let me find this out. Was it not? What he's showing me is. Oh no! What he's showing me is somebody asked for a horse or wanted to go get a horse or see the horses, and he came back with like a toy horse or like a horse game or like a.
Oh, we used to have the running game, you know. Yeah, yours as well.
Okay, that was why I don't understand both of them. Okay, Phew. I was going to say, you're not related. Like, it is literally, it's, well, yeah, it could be.
Work on the railway, did he?
Let me tell you. But it's strange, isn't it, how spirit work? Because to be honest, if I can share that information, they're saving time to get both through at the same time. They're working together. Now, let me just get back to finding out. Do you know what? The fact that they're both having this really good laugh and really trying to up the energy around the pair of you is really significant. It's making me feel, both of them are making me feel like that's why we came tonight, to make you smile, to make you feel positive, to make you feel me around you again. And yes, the smell was me, he says to you. Yes, the smell was me, because you thought it was a different gentleman. You thought it was somebody else. It was me. Okay, and he's got a finger pointed here. It was me. Okay. Do you know what? It's so funny because both of them have just literally gone poof, out of my mind. So I am going to leave. They've gone to the pub. Yeah, I am going to leave both of their love with the pair of you, which is a strange way of saying it. But I am going to leave those connections with you, and just know that they are both very much there supporting you. Keep an eye out for those. For the amount of energy that he's putting around that medical situation to get things getting going, because he feels like it's been a bit of a long hard slog to get it going in the first place, and now he's getting some momentum going, and it feels like, yeah, he's certainly trying to push from that, both of them, from spirit side of things. And who's Will or William? Just really quickly, is that both of you? I don't mind Bill. No? You've got Williams on your side. Okay. It was just shouted out just as I was as I was sort of moving on. So we'll take him if you can. It is a common name, you know. It's one of those things. It is what it is. You can't help your name, can you? It's not like you're being called Leonardo or anything. Okay, but I'll leave both of their loves with you both. Oh my goodness. Yeah, excellent. So just close your eyes for a few moments, and I'll apologise for not getting around to everybody. I'm a chatterbox and I enjoy these connections. And yeah, exactly. So just as you close your eyes, as you think of those in the spirit world, we're just going to send our thanks out to them, thanking them for drawing close to us this evening, for sharing their memories, their love, their laughter, their upliftment, their healing. That proof of survival, and please know that if your loved ones didn't come through, it is only because I was chatting, and know that they walk by your side, know that they're free from any pain or discomfort that they experience when they were here in the physical world, and we send our thanks to them. I send my thanks to my guides and helpers for bearing with me, for working with me and supporting me to enable that communication to happen. And I ask that any healing energy that remains, any healing energy that's been unused, is spread and shared amongst yourselves, and that you can then take that into the community, take that out to the people in your lives, and share that little spark of healing light with anybody who may, and hopefully we can create a wildfire of healing. Amen.
Thank you.